In the previous module, we introduced a statistic called the standard deviation, an important measure of variability in a set of data. It's the average of the squared distances between the data points and the mean. Let's review the standard deviation. I will ask you to pause this video and take a minute or two to work out the sample standard deviation of this set of numbers, 8, 9, and 1. Again, pause the video, work through the standard deviation calculation, then restart the video and we will go through the solution. Remember that the standard deviation is the average squared distance from the middle. So that tells us how we need to go about doing the computations. We first of all need to find the middle of the data. The average of those three numbers is 6. We then need to look at the distances from the middle. The first data point is an 8. It's 2 units away from the middle. 9 minus 6. The second data point is 3 units away from the middle. 1 minus 6. The third data point is 5 units below the middle. Notice that these distances add to 0. That will always happen. Once we've found those distances, we want the average squared distance, so we need to square those distances. 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, minus 5 squared is positive 25. By squaring things, we keep the negatives from canceling the positives. We will then average those distances. The word average is in air quotes here. Remember, we're taking a slightly creative average. Normally, we would add things up and divide by the number of quantities we have. But here we're dividing by sample size minus 1. Why do we do this? It's a reflection of the fact that our sample is probably less varied than the entire population is, and so we're adjusting for that. So we add the three distances up, these three distances, add them up, divide by, sample size is 3, so 3 minus 1 is 2. This number 19 is something called the variance. We take the square root of that to get the standard deviation. Remember, we squared everything in sight, so taking the square root puts us back in the original units of the data. And so we've reviewed the computations for a standard deviation. For this class, you should know how to find the standard deviation by hand for a small set of nice numbers. That shows you understand the underlying concept behind the statistic. And also for any large real-world set of data, you should know how to use a spreadsheet to find the standard deviation for those numbers.